etc. Keys, wallet, cell phone, and pilot certificate. Make sure you've got all your pilot certificates. I've been ramp checked in my career, I think 5 or 6 times. And so every time, all they're looking for, they just want to see your pilot certificate and your medical. And I just want to elaborate on that really quick. Guys, don't freak out when you get ramp checked. It's not a big deal. The guys just have to log that stuff. They're basically going out to justify their job at the FAA as safety inspectors, and their job is to go out and just look at your pilot certificate and your medical. And it's okay if they're, if you hand it to them, they're not going to keep the darn thing and take it away from you. I think there's been a fear in the industry that if you hand over or surrender your certificate, they're going to take it from you. It doesn't work like that. I just want to tell you, after 5 or 6 of these. The other thing is, get that caffeine refill, head out to the FBO after you've done a few things. And I think I want to kind of talk about those those things to think about as well. Matt, I'm going to let you interject. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a really good point to make. At this point in the process, you could actually do most of the planning that's on this 22-point flight planning checklist at home. So if you don't need to run off to the FBO at this point, then skip this check until you actually need to go there. But for the sake of this, we're going to say that this is the point in which you are going to grab your flight bags, your keys, wallet, cell phone, pilot certificate, and you're going to jump in the car and head off to the FBO, and then you're going to continue with your weather checks and doing some flight planning, say with your CFI or somebody once you get there. Obviously, if you're going to do it on your own, you could do it at home or you could do it at the airport. So.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. And by the way, I personally will do the bulk of all the flight planning. I'll actually do that all at home. That flight planning process actually starts 3 days out from a flight for me. I'm looking at that high-level weather. I'm looking at that big picture, and I'm watching weather trends, both nationally and regionally and locally. So we start big and we just start working our way down, kind of like Class Bravo airspace. I think that's a great way to think of it. I'm looking at the edges of the airspace, and now I'm starting to break myself down into the middle where I'm going to be flying from and then subsequently flying to. So, Matt, if it's okay, I was going to take them through today some of the stuff that I personally do to get ready for a flight. From a weather perspective, and then you and I can start to talk about some of the flight planning things that you and I both use as pilots, that we've used in the cockpit to help these guys. How does that sound if we just run through that weather with them?
Yeah, we'll just run through this, real quick and give you guys. We're just going to give the 30,000-foot overview of what needs to be checked and give you guys some of the basics. Of course, in the future and so on another call, we will be breaking these down, very detailed, very in depth, so that you guys get a very good understanding of what is entailed in each one of these steps. So, but with that, yes, Bob, I would certainly love to see what you're gonna show us, what resources you use, what it is that you're looking at. So, take it away for a little bit.
So we started up here with kind of checking the Weather Channel, and I start my weather checks before I'm going to go fly, or I've got to go out and fly the jet, or I go out and fly the Cirrus. I start weather checks. So if I've been off for a week, I'll start weather checking about 3 days in advance, and that's going to help give me the data I need to know, okay, what's happening on a kind of on a big scale, if you will, around the country. So a lot of pilots will actually, and by the way, the order in which this checklist is you don't have to do it in this particular order, but it's a great order that this checklist has been built into. And so I want to say that, first of all, a lot of pilots will, not a lot, a few pilots out there do make the mistake of really only checking METARS. It is something that I'm going to check locally, and I'm going to watch, because what I'm checking for, believe it or not, are trends in altimeter settings, and I'm also checking trends with respect to winds and cloud cover. I want to start to get an idea as to what's happening locally. But I know that the global picture, the big items, were covered on the Weather Channel, and I had a chance to look at some other charts. We'll cover those more in depth here in a few minutes. But the first step is what's happening locally right now, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, the night before. What's happening with my airport locally? And I'm also going to be checking the TAFs as well. So if we go in, I'm just going to put in KPHX, since that's the large airport, that basically gives us our TAF reporting here in Phoenix, I'm going to start to check those Zulu time trends, and I want to know what kind of weather am I dealing with here at my departure, and then I'll load those TAFs in the night before and check the arrival airport as well. So I'm going through the METARs, but now I'm checking TAFs. So basically I went big picture with like the Weather Channel and all the weather guys, and zoomed it in, and now I'm going to look at METARs and I'm going to start to zoom myself back out, which is go local to destination with my weather search.